Happened in the 90s.
Mr. Wizard's World will be back in less time than it takes to boil water.
Oh, God.
Did you ever get to see those? Why are we doing this?
No, I'm bleeping this.
Yeah. Well, hey, boys and girls, this is Steve G and Matt G with Happened in the 90s, a show where we talk about things that happened in the 90s. So get out your hammer pants and your Kerflugen because Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks, Cleveland rocks.
Ohio! Wow! Mimi's straight up was like the most RuPaul's Drag Race-esque character before that was even a thing. I forgot about Mimi as a character, Steve.
We also forget about their beef. Like we talk about Pam and Martin as far as like the male female like bickering, but man, you got to put Drew and Mimi up there because every time they show up on camera, they don't let a moment pass, dude. Like every time,
it's like Newman and Jerry. It's very like they're just sworn enemies forever.
And bro, like Mimi, she has some hits, man. Like quick ones.
She has that makeup. I mean, her makeup budget, though. I mean, Jesus Christ. We're talking millions, Steve. It's like that fucking hooker blast shotgun Homer invented with the makeup. It's crazy.
Yeah. And fucking what was the televangelist lady?
Tammy Faye Baker or whatever.
Tammy Faye Baker. Yeah, man. And that movie is actually good on HBO Max, man. It's a dramatic reenactment of her life. Very sad, man. I didn't know her full story. She was mostly known for the makeup, and then they spoofed her on SNL with Jan Hooks and shit. But dude, she was actually like a sweet person, man. You know, I always look at televangelists, and I think most of us do, as far as like being kind of like underhanded and devious. Hucksters. Yeah, but she got cheated on by her husband, and she was actually outspoken. She is outspoken for like the LGBT back in the 80s, man. You know, she had invited a guest who had AIDS, and this was during the 80s when people didn't really know the full details about it, man. And the fact that she was a Christian and doing this, and you know, she's a part of that fire and brimstone culture. She was like, no, man, these are people too. And you know, you got to pop your collar to that, man, because this was it was like you were looked at as a fucking deviant at the time, man. This was way before the whole movement of LGBT and before we had knowledge of the whole AIDS pandemic and all of that, man.
Well, they thought you could get it. They didn't know how you could get it. So it's like if you had HIV, everybody, you were like, lock them away. Like, I'm not touching you. I can't hug you. Can I kiss this like person? Can I, you know, so I think nobody took the time to like educate anybody. So like, it just kept getting worse and worse for that people that got that disease. I honestly, when you said her name, I didn't know anything about her. I thought there was some like shenanigans with her, but I guess not, which hey, more power to her then. Fuck it. You don't get that a lot in televangelists.
You don't, man. And I think she shared some of the grief with her husband, who was like really the fucked up one, because he was the one taking funds and misusing them. And he was keeping it under wraps. Like he kept it from her. She really had no idea. And at the time, the public were saying, bullshit, you're his wife. And they show in the movie, man. And I get it. It's a movie, but you know, he was like slick handling business or whatever, and he'd be sitting at the desk and she'd be like, honey, what are you doing? It's like, oh, nothing.
I haven't seen that shit. I'll have to check it out. I mean, if it's HBO, I'm not surprised. Everything they put out. Shout out to HBO for putting out that Peacemaker show with Cena too. I've been watching that. That shit is fire as fuck.
Yeah. If you weren't a Cena fan, you should be by now.
I mean, the guy's just killing it. I actually had my doubts. I didn't really care to like a lot of the shit I've seen him in. There's been some things I enjoyed, but I thought they, just like a giant buff dude who's just trying to like do rock shit or whatever, but he's sort of like carving his own little niche. And I feel like, especially this show, you're seeing how funny and how like deep he's actually a pretty good actor. It's pretty crazy.
Ooh, yeah. And did you see the latest, what is it? Not just, I want to say Justice League, Suicide Squad with Idris Elba. And
that shit was tight as fuck.
Yeah, he did his thing in that, man. And like, if you watch his early wrestling stuff, man, people immediately see him doing the rapping thing and they're thinking, oh man, he's doing the Marky Mark. But like the stuff, his lines were actually witty and he was freestyling, man.
Damn, okay. All right.
Yeah, dude. And he hosted SNL. Really good episode, man. He's got a sense of humor, dude.
Yeah, he's killing that show. That guy James Gunn is especially for like comic book shit, because I mean that's all he does, like Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff. It seems like that dude has figured it out, man. He makes entertaining comic book movies. It's not just like the cookie cutter shit you watch.
Yeah.
It's also great to see comic book shit for like people our age, like R-rated shit, where it's just like, there's no holds barred. It's not like watching a Marvel movie where, it's pretty much PG-13 shit.
Yeah. And man, sidetrack Sally, that green must be good, buddy. This is our second time talking about Drew Carey show, and it's only our second time because they don't stream that shit anywhere, man.
Why?
Come on, HBO Max, you are WB, and I'm pretty sure WB runs the fucking Drew Carey show, ran the Drew Carey show. What the fuck?
It doesn't. It's like you forget about how good it was. Like it's really like sort of a forgotten show.
And you've forgotten it because shit, they're not trying to show it anywhere, man. It lasted for about 8-9 seasons, bro. We were in college by the time that ended.
Yeah, and they started doing wacky shit where they would have like hidden like episodes with like hidden shit in it, where it was like a contest to find all the hidden like scavenger hunt shit. I remember that. Like I definitely had friends that would do that, and they were into the show. So they sort of, I don't think they get talked about enough, because it wasn't just like a typical sitcom at a certain point.
And I mean, the supporting characters, the supporting actors, man. Like we talked about Mimi, and then of course Drew's brother. He was a character actor. He was in True Romance. He was in a lot of serious roles, man.
Zodiac. He's a fucking Zodiac killer.
Mr. Wick.
Yeah, that guy had a late night show. I forget his name, but
Craig
Ferguson.
And of course Lewis and Oswald, Diedrich Bader, and
Ryan Stiles.
Ryan Stiles, man, fucking hilarious, dude. But this is our first time talking about the Golden Girls. One big room full of bad bitches.
It's crazy. It's the first time. It's kind of apropos too, because we just lost Betty White. So rest in peace, Betty White, to the ledge. Now all the Golden Girls are in heaven, looking
eating
down
cheesecake.
on us. Oh yeah, just playing Baccarat or whatever the fuck that they always play.
And hearing stories about St. Olaf in the old country. And it started off, man, on January 27, 1990, Golden Girls are airing season 5's triple play. Miles' daughter tells Rose to stop seeing him. Sophia has received over $100,000 in Social Security checks, and Blanche rents a car and pretends to sell it so that she can meet man. How I do declare.
Hustlenomics, the episode, Steve. I mean, Sophia she got talked out of a good sitch. That's all I can say right now. We'll get into it, but
man,
we open this episode just living that lifestyle. Dorothy and Sophia, they're hanging out, they're having a chat, and as soon as they get into it, the phone rings, and it's somebody trying to look into buying a car, and they're like, "We don't know shit about this," but Blanche comes in and is like, "Is that a man?" And takes the phone and fucking is like, this, she starts getting into business. Turns out Blanche has developed yet another web of deceit to trap a man into the web of sexuality, where she just puts cars out for sale, gets the guys to come in, sort of negotiate to see, how put together they are. Like, what do they look like? What do they got? How much money they got? And this is sort of like Tinder. You're sort of getting like the recipe, and then you sort of get to see it in person. And hey, if so, let's make a deal, but not for a car, for some box.
For real, man. And she puts a warrant ad out for a Mercedes. Dorothy tells her she doesn't even have a Mercedes. And he's like, yeah, she knows that, but she's got this merciless coochie and she knows what to do with that shit. And they ain't gonna give a fuck if it's a Benz or a mountain bike when they done with it.
I'm about to lay it on these people. So just get them in here, which respect, Steve. And if I was put in a situation where maybe I was looking for a car and I walk into some pussy on the side, even with an older woman as Blanche is, I might be into it. A younger me might be into it, Steve.
Dorothy, don't hate on her, Hohen. Shit, she's trying to get calls from the big ballers and get chose by the shot callers. This is free game.
Yeah, this was at the time where it was like, you want to go into the fucking personal ads in a newspaper like a pervert? Like, you ain't gonna find love like that. There wasn't websites, there wasn't even fucking group chat, phone line shits, whatever that was. I don't even know what that was, but that was a thing.
Yeah, maybe in Miami they had stuff like that. They definitely didn't have it in Ohio.
But for old little fucking Tomcat cougars out there on the prowl, like she might get an older guy, she might get a younger guy. It don't matter. She just got to make sure, like, let me look at them. You got any diseases? You look sick. Oh, you got some money? Okay.
And we see Rose and her steady boo Miles enter the house, coming in from their date to see Glass Menagerie. Rose was expecting it to be a seance, and Miles finds her naivety endearing. Now, we find out also that Miles' daughter Caroline is flying into town to visit him for his birthday the next day, and he wants her to meet Rose. Rose offers to make lunch at her place, and Miles is with the shits. Now, Caroline, I'm going to just say this. I don't like the bitch.
I gotta say that too. Fuck Caroline and all the bullshit she's bringing in, because it's unnecessary, and she's also selfish as fuck. We'll get into that.
Yeah, man. And now Blanche is in the kitchen going through the classifieds to see what she can get for her potential buyers. She tells Sophia she's got some end of the month money problems, and out of nowhere, Sophia pulls a wad out of her cooking apron. Oh, you need a loan? Fucking stacks.
It's fucking a knot, Steve. This is like, that was a straight up drug cartel leader knot. That wasn't even just like, I got a little extra spending money knot. That was you're dealing some weight knot,
Yeah, she's been hanging out with the cocaine cowboys.
She's in Miami, right?
Yeah, yo.
Hey.
And Sophia, she says that she's a grave robber. What's it to you?
That's insane. And but Blanche is getting a call. She's getting calls on this car, and I gotta say, like, respect to this woman, because she has this plan. And to me, I was like, well, what if these guys show up? Like, are you just gonna like just start sucking and fucking and just like make them forget they were there to buy a car? Like, you're pretty confident that they're gonna be into this. And hey, good on her, because guys are showing up. And this is where I was writing a note, like, where did she get this Mercedes? Because she does actually end up having a car that guys can look at. So did she rent a car?
This episode didn't completely connect the dots, so we're just assuming that she did take that loan from Sophia. Because she's looking through the classifieds to buy the car so that it could be sold, and then eventually she gets the car. So, within 30 minutes, they do have to condense things,
You're right.
They leave it to us.
Okay. Well, I'm glad then. I didn't miss anything then. That wasn't there. But I will say it's hilarious, because now she's in this scam, right? So a bunch of guys will come in, and she'll be in the like living room with Dorothy and Sophia, and these dudes will be like, how much mileage does she have? It's like all these like real suggestive questions. You know what I'm saying?
When Sophia and Blanche they always have that, man. There's always the alley-oop, and Sophia's like Blake Griffin. You know what I'm saying? But Rose, she wants to make sure that Blanche's sexcapades don't interfere with her meeting with Miles and Caroline. And Blanche says, "Don't worry, men will stop by, but they'll be in and out all day." And just before Sophia takes the alley-oop from Blanche, Dorothy stops her in her tracks, like, "Nope." The jokes sell themselves without even saying anything, man. And she says, like a fisherman with a new lure. That's how she's going to bring in the guys to the yard. And Dorothy says, "You catch them, you keep them." She says, "You catch them, you clean them."
Yeah, right. And Miles eventually does show up with Caroline, his daughter, the bitch. But we don't know necessarily she's a bitch yet. It's just there seemed to be maybe a little bit of weirdness, but it's meeting somebody new. And Rose is there. She's making Blurgen or some shit, whatever the Amish something, I guess. And Rose is kind of like set up in this show as like the lovable rube, but she's
innocent,
exactly.
Yeah.
She's very she's untouched. She's asking all these it's kind of weird. She's asking these sort of hickish questions to the daughter and stuff. And the daughter's a musician and, there to visit her father. Miles.
She plays the English horn.
Yeah. And, and Rose is like, "I didn't know horns had nationalities." It's like that shit where it's like, "Oh, God, Dad.
I didn't know flies could be Spanish. Yeah. Jumping beans can be Mexican."
So there's so whatever. But Miles leaves. And in the midst of this dinner that Rose has made, Caroline's like, "Well, my dad, just lost my mom a year ago. And he's going through shit, and it's just not, he doesn't need to be all messed up with some chick like you. So drop it. Get away from my dad." Some shit like that. It maybe wasn't that harsh, but it was pretty harsh. And Rose, it hits Rose right in the heart.
Yeah, man. She wasn't expecting that. Like, "Bitch, you in my house telling me this shit?" And, going back to the Blanche storyline, she meets up with James and, they go out for a test drive. And while they're on a test drive, the next potential buyer comes in, and his name is Thomas, played by the legendary comedic actor Ronnie Shell. And he's been in a lot of sitcoms going back into the black and white days. And he's also a voice actor for a lot of classic cartoons that we watched growing up. And he's still with us. So Dorothy tells Ronnie or Thomas that Blanche is out on the test drive. And Thomas says, "She told me that I'd be first." And right on cue, Sophia says she's been using that line for 40 years.
It's a bidding war, Steve. It gets to the point where these guys are really in it to buy a car. They ain't in it for the puss. They don't even know puss is on the table at this point. They think they're going for some Mercedes with low mileage. So, while this is all going on, a bidding war ensues.
When they come.
Okay. Sorry, go ahead. My bad.
When James and Blanche come back, it becomes a bidding war, like you said. And James even offers to put down a $5,000 deposit. And since it's the weekend, Blanche isn't sure if the check will go through and prefers to wait. Now, Sophia is just like, "Call me Eastwood, because I got a fistful of dollars in this motherfucker." Now, and no counterfeit shit either. Hold it up to the light. I can have my people pull up from Opalaka. They got the money machine. What y'all want to do?
Because it's right here. Fucking ATM. I am an ATM. Look at this. Shit. Which, goddamn, bitch. What kind of Miami lifestyle are you living?
Yeah. And Dorothy, after she didn't receive these expensive ass watches from her mama, a box full of expensive watches, she finally calls her mom into the kitchen like, "Look, what's going on? Where's all this cash flow been coming from?" And she says the government has been really kind. Social Security checks have been coming out more than they usually do. And so basically there was a glitch in the matrix, and Sophia's just been getting more checks. And
just QT Payne's cash flow, Steve, because that's basically what Sophia's doing. Just living in a money machine, one of those machines that blows money all around you. Social Security is just laying it out. At one point she gets 5 checks.
Yeah. And this actually does happen, man. And I hope it happens to me one day. But
what's fucked up though, Steve? What would happen? Because I think I got some extra money one time, and inevitably, maybe a year or two later, you're gonna get a letter in the mail that says, "Hey, we realize we gave you all this extra money. Give it back." or else. And it's like, this was gone 5 years ago, so Sophia could probably get herself in some trouble, but she has the ultimate excuse. I got fucking 5 years left. I'm going to fucking cash these checks and go to Tahiti and fucking just have some margaritas and some fucking, some hot fucking little cabana boys all over me until I die. She could be doing that.
She got $170,000, man.
I mean,
she can be going
here's where I know she was like mobbed up, Steve. This little mobbed up Italian bitch. She didn't take it to a bank at all. I mean, I don't know if you could, but she's got it in her fucking apron. She's got a knot the size of my fucking fist in her apron.
Just fucking chilling, bro. She's fucking cooking up ravioli, stirring the pot and shit. She's like, yeah, I'll be cooking in the kitchen like Rose. Yeah.
Sophia, why is your nose so runny? Like, shut up.
Man, I got enough money to have you disappear.
And I mean, she ain't, but this obviously fucking Dorothy. I mean, I love me some B. Arthur, but goddamn, Dorothy, just like be excited for once in your goddamn life. 170K. I'd be like, you're going to split it with me and I'm not going to say shit. How about that?
Well, she's the designated voice of reason in all situations. She has to make sure her mom's all right. She has to keep Blanche from being a woman of the evening. She has to bring some sanity to Rose. And, she's telling her mom this whole, when you came to America, you saw the Statue of Liberty and you gave me an American flag. And, it's like, man, come on, man.
Did I give you this big ass pillowcase filled with cashola?
Pillowcase. That's the most gangster.
It ain't even a fucking Ziploc, Steve. This shit looked like a fucking like Halloween bag filled with candy, but the good kind of candy.
No, I've never seen that in a rap video. And I feel like, why haven't I? Because when I saw that, it called me out like, that looks really fucking G. Sophia is mine. She's my favorite one, dude. Like,
Sophia is just like, if I could like be in business with one of these people, that would be the one I'd want to be in business. She's gonna get the job though.
OG, triple OG, man. And like you said, she comes from the mail. She comes in with the mail and she's got like 4 or 5 extra Social Security checks. And Rose and Caroline are in the kitchen getting dessert. And Rose tells Caroline that she looks forward to getting to know her more and being best friends. And she's blushing and just happy about her connection with Miles. And Caroline says that her mother passed away a year ago. And, her father's just vulnerable. And maybe you should probably leave him alone and stop seeing him if you care about him.
I mean, here's the thing. That's good advice if it's like some like 20-year-old, like, he's doing some like crazy midlife crisis shit where he's fucking like some teenager or something. And it's just like, okay, this is weird. Yeah. But she didn't even ask, Steve. And she lays this fucking heavy trip on Rose, who always overreacts to any sort of shit like this. Because I don't know if this is the guy, but like, when they went on the cruise, like, and she was just like recently, like she'd never been with a guy since she lost her husband. And she had to like kind of go through the same thing, like at least that they're indicating in this episode. And it's like, of course, what Caroline says fucks her head up. And so in the midst of Blanche having like this bidding war, she sort of like tells Dorothy and everybody what Caroline said. And they're like, bitch, what? And like shout out to the squad, because everybody does like the right thing. They're like, no, like that ain't your fault.
Exactly.
Like, don't listen to that. Like none of them are like even saying anything positive about it. So like, she's got a good group of friends, Steve.
Oh, that's one of the many reasons why this is a fucking goat ass show. Blanche is like, shit, you not fucking Caroline, you fucking Miles. Fuck that kid.
Did he say this? Did he ever indicate this? And then she's like, so I don't know. I get being somebody's kid and like your mom's dead, and it just like, you don't want to have like a new person involved. I get it. But her dad's like eventually it gets to that point where, Blanche actually agrees to sort of deal with this situation. She's like, you know what? You got this situation. I'll take care of that. I'll handle this bitch and Miles and Dorothy. You handle these fucking wannabe dudes over here. Get the shitty selects out. get these two guys I like, handle that, keep them because I want to see what's up on those dudes. But we got this.
Because at this point, Blanche is fed up. Like she's already over it. You know what I'm saying? Because get rid of these. Like she likes James and Thomas. She wants to keep them on ice. But she's like Eddie and what was the other guy's name?
Spinny, Twiggy. He was a dud, Steve.
Yeah, flush them down the toilet. Fuck them.
He was a dud. But Blanche is like, you know what? I'm going to get to the bottom of this whole shit over here. So she goes out. Caroline and Miles are sitting out in the patio. Rose is inside in pieces. And Blanche is like, oh, hey, she basically just gets right to it, Steve. She just sits down, maybe says one or two things and is like, oh, did you tell Miles what you said to Rose about this bullshit?
And she does it so like eloquent, like just plays it off like she like isn't hip to the bullshit.
Yeah,
she does it with like a feigned interest. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. And she's like, Miles is like, what are you talking about? And so she fesses up. I told Rose to stop seeing you. Miles is incensed. Like, you did what?
Yeah, he's like, I'm in love with Rose. Like, I deserve this, basically. You know, like I was in love with your mom. I was heartbroken, but I'm ready to move on. And Rose is who I want to be with, basically. So shout out to Miles for just being a straight up G too. Like he's
for real, man. Fuck with my pimping.
And you know, Dorothy is tasked like to deal with this situation inside. So she gets the guys that Blanche wants, and she tells Sophia, deal with the duds. So I forget what Sophia says, but she doesn't even, they're like, wait, what's going on? They're like, she's like, get the fuck out of here.
Just get the fuck out of here. Yeah.
Get out of here. And she basically does what you did to that kid and kick them in the ass and get them out of the front door, Steve.
Fucking kick me in the ass, dude.
Fucking Stever.
Oh. But when Thomas and James find out that it's not really about the car, it's really Blanche that's for sale. And James is like, man, what the fuck? I'm a dentist. I can get bitches anywhere. I'm in Miami. And Thomas, he's like, well, shit, good thing I'm a teacher and I'm accustomed to abuse. So where's Blanche at? I'm still going to stick around.
Yeah, I'll hit it. Like, what's up?
But along the way,
Dorothy goes, swoop. Let me get that dick. And she swoops in because I feel like that guy's a little bit peeved. You know, he's like, I got conned. This could be a whole thing. But Dorothy, you seem, you know, you look like you can give a real firm hand job. Let's do this.
Oh my God.
So Dorothy straight up
team.
like swings in and gets it. And then like at the end, she just is like, she tells Blanche, you know what? Sorry, you're select. He's mine now. You're not pissed, are you? And Blanche is like, oh, no, you know, she just sort of writes it off, Steve.
And she gives her the keys to the Mercedes. It's like, oh yeah, no hard feelings. So Blanche or Dorothy and Sophia, they take off. And as soon as they leave, she calls and reports it missing. Yeah.
And Rose is like, oh my God. Yeah. And that's the end of the episode. But here's my thing, Steve. This show is like the dream. If you get old and you got a little squad with you of just fellow old people living this lifestyle, this craziness, this would be great. They're living like Bromfield lifestyle shit as old ladies, Steve. This is great.
Yeah, man. It is, man. And you know, you're keeping each other out of the retirement home.
And apparently, but see, like Sophia, you're the mom. Like, keep the bag. Like, fuck the government. They can't do nothing.
Like, this is just a dope ass picture, man. Like the whole main cast got their propers throughout the course of this show, man, as they should, man.
That's so sick.
Like an example of great writing, great casting. One of the most classic theme songs. Great storylines, and once again the bit players, the reoccurring characters like Stanley, the divorced.
I'm sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to interrupt you. Go ahead. Stanley.
Her ex-husband and Miles. He was a reoccurring character, and the many dudes that Blanche would be seen with.
the hordes of men that she banged. But also they like this show will get into some deep like, you know, like they lost their husband and they have to deal with the guilt of finding a new boyfriend or something. Like they'll deal with some heavy shit too in it, but it's just a fucking. I did it. I mean, I watched it with my grandma and shit when I was a little kid. It would be on, and I never like hated it, but it was never something I'd be like, oh, I love Golden Girls. But it's crazy how everybody seems to just be into this show now. I don't know if it's a retro thing. I don't, but it is that good, you know.
It's part retro, and because of the things I said, man, you know, it's quality product. I obviously didn't sense any of that stuff as a kid. It had some funny moments, and I watched it with my grandmother. But being a TV fanatic, a sitcom fanatic, man, you know, you appreciate great art.
Oh yeah.
And shout out to all these women, man.
It's kid time.
Listen up! Words coming down.
America is watching ABC.
Keep on living.
Ooh, and we'll keep on giving.
You're a part of us, America. America's watching ABC.
More cool TV.
On ABC. And America is watching ABC.
This fall.
And that same year, The Image premiered on HBO, directed by Peter Warner. When a career-focused journalist investigation indirectly causes a suicide, he questions his own methods and life in general. And it stars Albert Finney, John Mahoney, our boy from Frasier, Kathy Baker, Swoosie Kurtz, Spalding Gray, and a young Brad Pitt.
Damn.
Yeah, man.
Studied, dude.
And I never heard about it until, you know, doing research for this, but I don't think it's available on HBO Max. I have to look that up. I wonder if it's available at all because I want to check it out.
I bet you can get it on like Amazon Prime or something. They tend to have just like old shit, but you got to pay for it, you know?
And it actually won some awards. Outstanding lead actor in a miniseries or special for Finney, and outstanding supporting actress in a miniseries or special for Swoosie Kurtz.
Dude, that Finney dude does not get enough credit for being like a straight up legendary actor. He's been in so many great movies over the years. He's a badass.
He kept his nose out of the mess, man.
I mean, he's just like one of those dudes. It's just like it doesn't. You're not really like cognizant of the fact you're watching Albert Finney act. He just like disappears, and he's always just an awesome. Whatever the character is, it's just a dope ass fucking character, you know.
You know another guy like that? Who's the guy who played Lincoln?
Oh, that's like the straight up method actor dude.
Been around for fucking ever.
What
Last
is that
of the Mohicans,
guy's
I think.
name?
Was that the same guy? Last of the Mohicans?
Yep.
Yeah.
What is his name?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yep, there you go. Drink my milkshake. That guy. And it's not always like that guy suffers from being in movies that I'd say are not, it's always just something slow and like it's a great performance, but it's not something that you just want to watch over and over again, you know, like There Will Be Blood. That movie it's amazing. Like the performance in it's amazing. It's beautiful to watch, but I can't sit there and watch that shit over and over. It's not like a Boogie Nights even that's long, but it's so good and filled with like entertaining and like exciting shit that it just, you can watch it over and over again.
I watched Lincoln in theaters and I won't see it again because I mean, obviously we all know how that story ends, but that shit was like 3 hours.
I like a biopic sometimes, but to be honest with you, especially like that, and it's like something like in Civil War era, I know, I mean, Lincoln, of course, like whatever, but I just tend to avoid that. I never even saw it. I saw like bits and pieces, like when it became like an Oscar contender and they'd show you like a scene from the movie. And I heard stories like that guy walked around like that dude, Daniel Day-Lewis. Once he starts a movie, I guess he just continually acts like the character until they're done filming the movie.
That's smart.
He was walking around as like acting like Lincoln or like the asshole in There Will Be Blood. It was just like for months on end, which seems crazy, but then you watch the movie and it's like, oh, okay, I get it. It must be
Daniel Day-Lewis, man. Dude, that if I was an actor, I mean, I would do it that way too, dude.
Dude, I don't know what the movie's called, but he was in a movie where he plays like a boxer. and I don't know what it's called, but dude, straight up, it is a good fucking movie. It's almost like feels kind of Raging Bull-esque. It's not like it's not like that, but like the boxing and shit a little bit, but it's good. I don't know what it's called. So
It's not biographical like Raging Bull.
I hesitate to say anything because I don't remember the overall story, but it's just like a guy struggling to be like a boxer, and it's like there's other shit in it, like maybe I just don't remember, but I just remember him being a boxer and the boxing scenes in it, top notch. It was really good.
Now, that following year, January 27th in 91, Super Bowl 25 had happened in Tampa Stadium in Tampa, Florida. New York Giants beat the Buffalo Bills 20-19. This is the wide right Super Bowl. And the Super Bowl MVP is our guy, Otis Anderson, with 2 T's. Who has not murdered anyone. I don't know if he has a son, but if he did, he didn't kill him. Yeah, man. So continue. Yeah, man. He goes fishing with his son if he has one. He does things. He shows him the ropes, the growing pains in life. But yeah, man. Otis Anderson with 2 T's, Super Bowl MVP. And this was also the Super Bowl where Whitney Houston delivers her legendary rendition of the Star Spangled Banner during the pregame ceremonies, man. R.I.P.
Bobby Brown took a legendary snort of cocaine at halftime.
You talking about Bill Parcells, Big Tuna?
Big Tuna.
And this was his second, I believe, Super Bowl win, and great coach. A lot of people talk about the great NFL coaches of all time, man, and he should get his spot on the list somewhere. He has a legacy of building teams up, man. He won 2 with the Giants. He took the Patriots to the Super Bowl in 97, but they lost to the Packers in Brett Favre's only Super Bowl win. And he built up my Cowboys, man. He was responsible for building up a pretty good Pro Bowl team. And I think the ego of Jerry Jones got in the way. And before we were able to reach the promised land,
he's just one of those, like, he's like the last in that generation of like Ditka guys. It was just like, you feel like they'd probably just like smack a guy in the face type dudes.
A man's man.
He was always yelling at the press, just like a badass, just like didn't give a fuck. He was just like, yeah, I'm a winner, so eat it.
If Arlie Ermy was a football coach.
He was like Bobby Knight as a football coach. He'd throw a fucking chair at you. He'd slap you around a little bit.
Oh man, Bobby. He's a fucking Ohioan. I don't know if we want to claim him, but not only did Whitney Houston perform, New Kids on the Block, they performed, but it was on a tape delay.
Oh no, New Kids.
It was supposed to be for the halftime show, man. And I had a book during one of those scholastic book fairs in school. And it was one of those books where you fill out information. My favorite color is blah, blah, blah. If you would like to meet a celebrity, who would you like to meet? And now I was 7 at the time, and I said I wanted to meet MC Hammer and New Kids on the Block. Yeah.
MC Hammer. Who did it? Like, I was not a New Kids on the Block guy. I got to say, I wasn't into it.
Never
I remember the
album.
right stuff, but
yeah. I thought that shit was cool. It was a cool song. And I was 7.
Dude, MC Hammer back in the day, like the Addams Family song and shit. Too legit to quit, Steve. Too legit to quit.
Hey. Now, that following year, the 19th American Music Awards aired in the Shrine Auditorium in Los Angeles. It was hosted by MC Hammer.
That's too legit. Speaking of the devil. Dude.
Yeah, man, you like the segue? You like it? And I ain't even mean to do it.
Dude, look at Hammer, dude. Look at Hammer back in the day. I need 7,000 red suits stat. I sweat like a motherfucker.
Pinstripes on all of them. I want to look like a dancing Dick Tracy character.
Yeah.
Now, CNC Music Factory, they swept They had 6 nominations and won 5 of them. Michael Bolton, Luther Vandross, and Natalie Cole each received 2 awards. Now, if the AMAs hadn't lost their credibility already, they definitely should have lost it this year, because the favorite heavy metal / hard rock artists amongst Guns N' Roses, Metallica, and Van Halen, it went to Guns N' Roses, which, okay, November Rain, that was the thing at the time. But Van Halen, like, there wasn't another fucking option. Like, this is not even David Lee Roth. This is the Hagar the Horrible era. I am sorry for you Hagar apologists, but his shit is for cock rockers and fucking Jimmy Buffett fucking
55, dude. That's one of the, here's, you want to know something sad, Steve? It's embarrassing in my life. I think the first concert that I went to was to a Sammy Hagar concert at the Toledo Zoo Amphitheater with my parents, no less.
How old were your parents at the time?
Dude, I can't, honestly, Steve, they didn't even listen to fucking Sammy Hagar. That's the thing. I don't know why I was meant to go to see Sammy Hagar.
It was the thing to do.
I guess fucking seeing fucking Sammy. Here's what I remember: a lot of weed smoke at the Sammy Hagar concert, and my mom telling like a 10-year-old me, like, "Oh, it's just people, you know, it's just craziness. Just don't matter. It's a little crazy cigarettes."
This was at the Seagate Center.
No, it was at the Toledo Zoo Amphitheater, Steve.
Oh, Toledo
Sammy
Zoo, okay.
Hagar just rocked out the zoo, bro.
Oh my God.
Yeah, but fucking Sammy Hagar, I never was like in that debate. You know, I was never like the biggest Van Halen fan, but you can't tell me a David Lee Roth Van Halen song just doesn't eclipse any Van Halen Sammy Hagar song.
Oh my, like, yeah, 1984 is my shit, man. And to add more to it, the favorite heavy metal hard rock new artist was amongst Nirvana, Alice in Chains, and a band named Firehouse. And it went to the band Firehouse.
Yeah, they want that one back. Somebody's looking at that like, really missed the boat on that one. Fuck.
Yeah, they make good
Firehouse,
subs.
what the fuck?
Yeah.
The subs?
Yeah. You ever been to Firehouse subs? They're pretty tasty. I don't know about their songs, but they're fucking, they're ham and cheeses.
He was kicking, Steve.
You know, favorite rap hip hop. This is totally okay. It went to MC Hammer, but the other options were DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince, NWA, and NWA didn't even have a fucking. They were done. Like Ice Cube had already left. This just I just feel like the AMAs. And because it was early 90s, like who do we know that raps? Okay, the Fuck the Police people. Yeah.
Who's that DJ Jazzy Jeff guy? Call him up. Call him up in the.
Oh yeah, I remember him, the Uncle Phil and Onville. Yeah. That's funny. Yeah.
We'll do a bit where we toss them out.
We could have them take pictures, and yeah, they could say they were at the AMAs. I don't know why I turned into
never give a fuck about the award shows. Like this has never been a thing for me. I don't get into Oscar debates. Like it's cool to see who wins, but I'm not trying to watch that shit.
And they gave James Brown a Lifetime Achievement Award for this year's AMAs. Look at the young Mariah.
They gave him Mariah Carey too, just for the night. They were like, James, here you go, bud.
Because it sang good, it looked good, and it make love good.
Get my cake.
Now, you know who probably didn't watch this AMAs because it fucking sucked besides you and me? Probably Mike Tyson, because he went on trial for rape.
Well, yeah, he might have caught it. Maybe he was on the TV at the jail cell or wherever he was at, you know?
Yeah, man. Everyone should go to jail for doing this.
That's a great screen picture.
Yeah, Kanye. Yeah, You're arrested. Jim Brown, yeah, you too. What? Oh, yeah, you want to be, yeah. Steve Harvey, yeah. Yeah, you and that mustache. Get the fuck into prison.
Well, he Mike's doing good now. Mike's turned it around.
He definitely did, man. He KO'd all of the bullshit behind him. And on that same day when Mike went to trial, presidential candidate Bill Clinton and Jennifer Flowers accused each other of lying over her assertion they had a 12-year affair. Yikes.
Clinton just chasing any tail. Jennifer Flowers, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't a looker. Okay.
She wasn't bad.
I was thinking of Linda Tripp.
Oh, yeah. There's a reason they had John.
Get off me! I'm starving.
Yeah.
Bill Slick Willie was just out there, just eating Big Macs and fucking just fingering chicks, dude. Fuck
just telling sexy exotic lies in a southern drawl.
Hey, hey, give me one of them cigars. Let me show you something real quick.
Yeah, I mean, and we ate that bullshit up, man. In the following year, in 93, Andre the Giant, French professional wrestler and actor, born 1946, would pass away. And I feel like he is a real life Bill Brasky. You hear the stories from other wrestlers, and it's just like, there's no way a real human being did this thing. All of this stuff, man, as far as drinking like damn near 100 cans of beer in one sitting and still like not even being tipsy. There was a story of him like running after some assailants, and like they like got into a car and he like tipped the car over.
Dude, I mean, here's the thing, like with something like that dude's so big, like he wasn't going to live a long life. You know what I'm saying? Like, but he made the straight up most of it. People like that usually are just like on a couch someplace, can't do shit. This guy was out there wrestling, fucking in movies, being a legend. And I mean, he rode that shit to Louise Fault, like drinking mad beers, partying, living that fucking wrestler lifestyle. So I don't know, man. Like he was never like my favorite wrestler, but he was always it's just like that guy was just a one of a kind thing. It was just crazy.
Yeah. And a lot of people only know him for his WWF stuff, man. And if you only know him for that
ride, guys, come on.
Yeah. But he was a different guy in his younger days, man. He was able to do some pretty athletic things. Like he did drop kicks and shit.
It's like you see Big Show like shit, like Big Show's like of a similar size. And like back in the day when he first came out, he was doing this. It's crazy to see, but that shit just don't last because people that big, it's like you ain't supposed to be that big. You only get so much time with that fucking athletic ability. So,
and how do you pronounce it? Is it megalomania or I think or
gigantism or something?
Well, it's gigantism, but it's another name. It's like I don't know, agromania. I'm not
mesothelioma. I don't know, Steve. I'm not a doctor.
Wally Zerbiak. In 1994, Clash of the Champions 26 airs in Baton Rouge, Louisiana, home of Boosie Badass, and they use X's and when they say go.
Who was on the ticket that night, Steve? Who was clashing?
Oh, it's our guy, Tuco Scorpio, with the buff man, Marcus Bagwell. They were a tag team, and they went up against Pretty Wonderful, Paul Orndorff and Paul Roma.
Was Paul Orndorff rocking Jordache fucking jeans? And that's
his typical Speedos. Ron Simmons versus Ice Train. We had Lord Steven Regal versus Dustin Rhodes well before Goldust. Cactus Jack and Max Payne versus the Nasty Boys. Flying Brian and Colonel Parker, who was assisted by Steve Austin. And Ric Flair and Sting were a tag team against Rick Rude and Vader with Harley Race as the manager. Yeah.
Harley
Pretty
Race.
good match.
Looking like he has radiation sickness.
With tennis ball fur for hair. No. Now, on January 27, 1995, Eric Cantona of Manchester United is fined and banned from playing football after attacking a fan. And, I don't fuck with football, but I fucks with this type of shit.
Damn.
Yeah. The makers of
kick this dude. That's what the fuck happened here?
Man, the makers of Mortal Kombat were put on notice at this.
Yeah, that's the Liu Kang dragon kick, Steve. That's fucking
with perfection. Want a closer look at that shit?
God damn. This is some like Pistons Pacers shit. It looks
they should have got this guy to play in Double Dragon instead of Scott Wolf.
I mean, you fuck around, be a soccer hooligan. You better be ready to catch a fucking cleat to the dome. I can't see exactly where he's connecting, but that could be a deadly shot.
Man, because it had some force. You can just tell from the picture.
I like that nobody around him, if this guy, the guy in the leather jacket, he's not reacting at all. That's a hard man. He's just like, get back to the fucking game, please.
I've seen worse things that you don't even want to know about. This is child's play.
Oh, dude. Yeah, I don't fuck with soccer myself, but I love a good soccer hooligan,
Yeah, I live for this type of shit. It's just like hockey. Yeah, all this fucking assist and points and all that shit. Oh, they put the gloves off? All right, cool. I'm weird.
See, this is very much the opposite because they, soccer, you see a lot of guys who will like play up they'll flail around like they got injured or something to get a yellow card.
Yeah, James Harden type shit.
Yeah, exactly. Like they'll play it up, but this is some next level. He was just like, fuck the bullshit. I'm taking your head off.
Yeah. But in 1997, the 24th AMAs were once again at the Shrine Auditorium. I don't know if this is the venue, the only venue they do this, but Tony Braxton and Alanis Morissette win 2 awards, and Mariah Carey's nominated 5 times. And I'm using this opportunity to show one of my junior high crushes. Where you at? Where you at? Where you at?
We are the Braxtons.
That's not it. There you go. And that's only her hips. But hey, just know that that's Tony Braxton.
Hey, Tony.
Yeah.
How's your sister doing? Hey, Tony.
Yeah. Unbreak my heart.
Unbreak my zipper. Steve, I mean, I wish you could pay tribute to the lady, but I guess you are. So get in there. And that's when the podcast was just mysteriously ripped from YouTube.
Man, they'll never cancel us. They need us. In 1998, the Dixie Chicks have their debut release, Wide Open Spaces. And the shit went diamond. This is another example of, I don't fuck with y'all's music, but you were that big of a deal to where I remember seeing this shit in a lot of different stores. Couldn't tell you one fucking song. I know them for this album cover and the Bush shit.
I know they got canceled.
Yeah.
So salute to them for just doing that. But other than that, I remember this being on the radio, and I have family that listens to the country music. So I definitely heard Wide Open fucking Spaces, but just not my thing, Steve. If you don't got something nice to say, don't say anything at all. So these chicksy dicks, they can take that.
Yeah, well, hey, man, the shit went diamond. They don't need your approval. They're enough motherfuckers liked it.
And they got canceled, and I think they're back, Steve. So they're winning again. They recovered. They're good.
As they should. In the following year, Drew Carey Show is in season 4, airing Rats, Cats, Dating a Wrestler. Rats, Kate, Dating a Wrestler. Drew and the others hire the disciplinarian, played by Triple H, a pro wrestler, as a spokesman for Buzz Beer. The gang is split on approval when Kate starts going out with them.
Yeah, Kate fucks up the deal, but right away we're at the Warsaw. This is the coffee shop and Friends. This is the place. This is where they all go. A bar. They're eating some pizza. They're chatting. And Kate, we find out, is notoriously running out on checks. When it's the check's about to come in, Kate's got a piss, or Kate's got a little issue, or Kate's doing this, or maybe Kate just fucking faces somebody and runs out, but she's notoriously not paying the check. They're making fun of her for that. And then we find out Warsaw's got a rat issue, Steve.
Yeah.
Gross.
Yeah. And they're closing in 15 minutes because of that. But hey, the chili's half price off.
And Oswald's definitely down to eat some of that fucking rat bait chili. It's like the pre-COVID, that this would have started another thing. But we also find out that what's his name? Lewis/Ryan Stiles works at a rat or some sort of lab is it above the bar?
Yeah, and he's been keeping rats upstairs, and that's why they're there. They're super intelligent rats too, apparently.
Yeah, so super intelligent. He starts explaining things, and then somebody orders a 4-cheese pizza, and everybody's like, "Oh my god, the rats ordered it." But then Drew's like, "I'm just fat. I just was amazed they had 4 cheeses."
Man, I'd be too. And they're afraid that the Warsaw is going to shut down for good, and in turn, their Buzz beer business will shut down. Eric Watts. And next, does
anybody? I don't know if we discussed this, but Buzz beer is a coffee/beer combination, is it not?
Yeah, homemade in Drew's house, I believe.
In his garage, something, but it sounds it sounds disgusting. As somebody who doesn't like a beer, I don't want this. And in this day and age, I assure you, there's something out there that is this in real life.
I'm positive. Yeah, it doesn't sound good on paper, and just in real life, I'm sure it's disgusting.
But thankfully, this is going to lead to it being snuffed out. But not thankfully for Drew and them. And they're like, I don't know, this is crazy. Meanwhile, Kate's trying to run out of a check and blah blah blah. So we cut to them after they freak out the next day, I guess. Instead of maybe looking into the books, maybe figuring out a business plan for this just so they don't go under, they're at a wrestling match, Steve, because that's the place to plan your business shit.
Hey, some people go to strip clubs, some people go to wrestling matches.
Front row at a regional wrestling match in some gym someplace, probably. Hey, fuck it. And turns out Triple H / the disciplinarian is one of these guys, Steve. Is this Triple H's first fucking go at TV?
I believe so. He did show up in The Rock's first SNL hosting during the opening monologues.
Yeah, with Mankind too.
With Mick, yeah, with our guy Mick. And I believe Vince showed up because he can't just miss an opportunity to show face. But I don't know which came first, man. Kate's posing as if she's pregnant, and but she really has a bunch of Buzz beers tucked in her shirt. Take notes, Tanya.
Fucking straight up glass fucking bottles, which just the balls of just walking into some place, just clinking and clanking out there. Like, yeah, this is a baby. This isn't just a bunch of booze. And so they're pulling fucking babies out of Kate's belly in the form of glass bottles. And they're so open about their fucking drinking, they just offer one to fucking Triple H mid-match.
Mid-match. Just like that.
They're fucking heckling a wrestling match with their beer. And Triple H, the disciplinarian that he is in this, he's not Triple H, he's the disciplinarian. And he's like, hey guys, that's dangerous. You're not supposed to have those. We got rules. So
no glass bottles in the building. They're rules for a reason.
This is very unwrestling like, because I mean, from what I hear, people are just straight up drinking lethal quantities of alcohol and doing blow and shit. I mean, apparently the disciplinarian, he's not into all that.
Yeah, and he's not about Kate, who appears to be pregnant. He's not with her drinking. Like, you're a pregnant woman. A woman in your condition shouldn't be drinking. And she says, "You want to know how I got in this condition?"
Hey there. And then in the midst of all this, Drew's seeing somebody he has a crush on, fawning over this buff man in the wrestling ring, but he does come up with a perfect idea. He's like, if we can't sell this shit in the bar, maybe this wrestler can fucking hook us up with some promotion, discipline some people into drinking this beer, and we got a fucking business plan here. Let's do this. This guy could save our ass.
Yeah, because he spots him on the Jumbotron. You can't use Titantron because, man, Vince don't play. And that's what ticks it off. When he spots him in the Jumbotron, it's like, man, oh, dude, he's holding our beer. Everybody saw that. Light bulbs go off, man. And then we cut back to the office, and Mr. Wick fires a guy for not showing up all week. And the guy, his name is Johnson. He's like, I did show up all week. He's like, no, but I meant next week. But why would you show up next week when you're fired?
And Steve, this is his 100th firing. So Mimi gets out the Polaroid. They start taking pictures with this poor motherfucker. They're just like, hey, Johnson, you fucking dumbass. Come here. Come here. You're still fired, but hey.
Pretend you're choking me now. And he gets a cake.
Yeah, I mean, hey, if you're going to get fired, at least that seems like a good vibe to go out on. You know, you get a cake, you get some of that. And then in walks Triple H, or his real name is Carol Morgenstern, I believe.
That's a girl's name.
Yeah. AKA the disciplinarian. And he's here. They're here to talk business, Steve. Drew's saying before he gets there that maybe we got $2,000. We can throw 2 G's at him, but let's see if we can, you know, fucking lowball him a little bit. So Triple H walks in, and fucking Oswald, I feel like, throws out like a hundo just to go at it. And I mean, a hundo, that's just way too lowball.
Yeah, that's lowball.
But turns out Carol Morgenstern, sounds like Morgenstein or whatever the bank is. He's like, you know what? How about 5 cents for every can of Buzz beer you sell? And Drew's like, 5 cents for every can, because they don't sell cans. They only have bottles. And Triple H is like, bitch, the bottle too. 5 cents on every one of these things you sell because of me. And which I gotta say, that's like a pretty big. I think it's a business savvy move. I'd take the 2G bag, but you know, he's obviously more thrifty than I am, more fiscally sound, I guess.
Yeah, I'm with you though, man. Like Randy Moss said, straight cash, homie.
Yeah, fuck this. I don't know how much of this shit you're gonna sell. Just give me 2 G's, and that's a sure thing. And maybe we can renegotiate. You know, pull one of those moves.
And man, I guess he accepts the deal because he's seen shooting a promo on TV. And China, she's with him. And you know, this is before the Stephanie era kicked in, and he does a product placement, and the guys see this thinking, yeah, we're gonna make it.
I mean, it's a straight up like legit product placement too, because he's like, you know what, I'm gonna kick your ass, and I'm gonna have a delicious Buzz beer with it. You know, it's like one of those things. It's like, god damn, I didn't know I was getting this much, but they definitely got hooked up, and it was cool to see China. They gave China a little shine. She was there.
Yeah, man. And Kate, like right after that, Kate comes in with the area, and apparently they're dating now, because before disciplinarian leaves, they make out. Yeah. And Drew thinks this is a conflict of interest, which it is.
It's a conflict of interest for him too, because he wants to bang Kate, but he's been friend zoned basically, and he's watching that go down. But also he is right, because he's like, if this goes fucking sour, you're gonna fuck up this business shit we got going on. Fuck, you know, this is about the money. Like, let's sell this beer, not this pussies. It's very much a Blanche Devereaux thing going on here, you know.
And they get snippy at each other, man. You know, Drew is like, if it walks like a duck, talks like a duck, and you probably dated it, it ended horribly. And Kate retorts with, if it walks like a girl and talks like a girl, chances are you asked her out and she said no. Ouch.
Yeah, that's rough. But also, we do find out, Steve, one, you know, the disciplinarian, when we first meet him, is not very much into drinking. He's not like into that. It's empty calories. He's a wrestler. He's going to maintain. But then when they show up and he's with Kate, Kate's a very bad influence on this guy, because not only does she sort of, you know, have this like, she's a little trashy, Steve. He's got this other baggage where I think his brother just died. Like, he's like, yeah, my bro just died, so I got to go to the funeral. And they even fucking tell this guy wear a Buzz beer hat to the fucking funeral, which it's like, damn, how far does 2 G's go?
Disciplinary is like, well, yeah, he did like to drink. He's being disciplinary is being a real good sport about all of this, by the way.
He's being cool as fuck. His brother just died. He ain't in shit. Maybe it wasn't a good relationship, but anyway, Kate's starting to like get her like claws in, and maybe it's not a good thing for the disciplinarian, because you know I feel like we just instantly cut back the next day and he shows up like basically in a blackout.
Just trashed. And Kate's rocking the Intercontinental belt, and it looks like the real one. I mean, because Triple H might have been the actual champ at this time. But yeah, man, that's another one of my favorite belts.
Hell yeah, dude. Especially with the Ultimate Warrior Intercontinental, the neon with the strap.
Oh my God, yeah.
Dude, you got to get that. But she's like, she's unapologetic about it. She's like, it's not my fault that he's drunk. You know, she's not the one that's been working him to the bone, Steve.
You sure you want to say that, Kate? And then we go back to the bar, and disciplinarian is supposed to make some kind of grand entrance, some kind of promotion for Buzz Beer, but he doesn't show up. Why doesn't he show up, Matt?
Well, Steve, I think he might have been drunk.
Yeah, man. Well, Kate took him out to Atlantic City. Yeah, man. She said that he's never been gambling, and she's like, "Oh, that's not cool. We should go to Atlantic City." So they go to Atlantic City, and he's down $20,000. And then that led to him getting into a fight with somebody, and then it led to him fighting Kate. So yeah, we cut to a promo. They're watching on at the bar, and he's like, "You know what? I'm sorry. I got arrested for wrestling the Hercules, or so I thought. It was actually me naked wrestling the statue at Caesar's Palace." And he's just shitting on Buzz Beer. Kids, don't drink Buzz Beer. Like the thing about that promo, kids shouldn't be drinking beer. Not just Buzz Beer.
Man, what the fuck, dude?
Yeah.
This is good advice. I mean, it's sound advice all around, but he is shitting on it. And I do want to say that, just speaking on Mimi's look, whenever they're waiting on Triple H in the bar for him to show up, Mimi shows up looking like a fucking bottle of Pepto-Bismol that's fucking bloated, and it was insane. What they made, I don't know, like if the chick like that played Mimi was down for like the style they chose, because it looked insane. So I just had to clock that. I was like, she looks like a fucking Slimer if he was pink, basically.
And I forgot to mention her lines in the show, man. When she sees him at the wrestling event, she calls Drew Jesse the pear-shaped body Ventura. And in the bar, she's asking about the disciplinarians, and like, where's he at? He's like, he still hasn't showed up. And she's like, well, you can get up there. You wrestle with your pants every morning.
Oh my God. So Kate fucked this guy's life up. She was basically Triple H's bottom, Steve. So I mean, that's fucked up. But then, it is what it is. And this is a sitcom, so this all just kind of goes away. And we go back to the I think the bar, and Lewis and Oswald are on the hunt for these rats, right? Aren't they? Did we gloss over that part of it?
Well, at the beginning of this scene, the bartender who first talked about the rats, he said, "Oh, the rats apparently just walked out."
Yeah, but then apparently fucking Lewis and Oswald also live above the bar, where they're doing something. And as they're leaving, you hear the bartender like, "We are ready to go, master." And you hear like a rat like, and apparently these rats are taking over the world. Basically, this is a Pinky and Brain situation.
Yeah. And also Mr. Wick, he shows up to see the disciplinarian because he's been a very bad boy. And Oswald tells him the disciplinarian is a wrestler and a man. And he's like, good God, that could have been embarrassing.
Dude, shout out to Craig Ferguson, dude. Just a creep, but
yeah, he played that so well, man. And the promo that he shot, it actually does the reverse effect. People want to know about this Buzz Beer that took the disciplinarian out.
Yeah,
so
exactly. Hell yeah. It fucking
so
if
everyone
take
wants
the
to
wrestler out. It's like an edible, See, if it could take out Joey Diaz, you want to try what that is, So I get it.
But Oswald and Lewis, being the idiots they are, Oswald's like, "Oh, they think we're bad businessmen. Free beers for everybody."
Dude, you look at like the cast of characters. I mean, Ryan Stiles, I wouldn't say he like blew up, but like what's his face? Diedrich Bader. He's
Bader.
a working dude. He's on a show. I think he's on American Housewife or was.
And he was in Napoleon Dynamite.
Oh yeah. Office Space. Hell
Office Space.
Man. Fuck nah, man.
And he was in 2 episodes of Fresh Prince. Yeah.
Oh wow. Dude, plus I just always loved Ryan Stiles because I did watch Whose Line Is It Anyway when it was on Comedy Central and they'd show the shit from like England where it originally came from. He was on it. I mean, that guy's been in the fucking business forever. I guess it was in the UK for a while, but that guy's a straight up beast.
And Colin Mockery.
Hell yeah.
But any callbacks, honorable mentions, takeaways, Matthew?
Takeaway. This is just like something I noticed that annoys me now. When you look at shows like the Golden Girls or anything that we really cover in the 90s, you got like 20 episodes per season, Steve. 20, sometimes more than that, sometimes 25, maybe even more than that. But now when you get a season of something, it's like 8 episodes. Maybe it's because it takes more to make or whatever, but I don't like getting into something and then it's over in like 6 weeks, like this isn't the same as it was.
A big reason that they don't follow the traditional schedule, man. Back in the day, everything started, the new season would start in fall and you would go all the way up. It would basically like parallel our school year, our school season, maybe late August or early September, and then going all the way up to like May or June. And then, all right, see you next fall. But now the seasons start in summer and be done by the fall or start in the winter. It's just, they're all over the place. But you're right about that, man. Something that bothers me is I don't like giving false information, as you know, Matt. I said that Ed O'Neill was invited back that following year on SNL, but he wasn't. I might have been thinking,
Steve.
He only hosted once, and that's a crime itself. I was probably thinking of Christina Applegate because she hosted, I think, that following year. Don't hold me to it, but she did return. Whichever year she did host with the whole Matt Foley deal, she was asked back, and she hosted years after that in the 2010s, I believe, man. But 227 aired in 1990, the episode Knock It Off. And initially I wanted to cover that because of the guest appearances from Iman, the former Miss David Bowie, and Gary Coleman.
What the fuck?
Exactly. When I was looking up episodes, I saw this like, man, I gotta dig into this, man. But it's not available on YouTube, not this episode. And I don't have an Amazon account. 227 is available on Amazon one of these days, man. Because
look at Iman though, dude.
Yeah.
Still looks like that.
He does.
That's wild. David Bowie, you son of a bitch.
And the fella behind her is Stoney Jackson. I've mentioned him probably once or twice on this show. And during the 80s, he had such an epic Jerry curl.
Wait, that's not Johnny B. Bad?
Johnny, Jesus.
That's not El DeBarge, Steve? What the fuck?
Shut up.
That motherfucker looks like Black Romeo, dude.
Fucking, this is a vampire in Brooklyn, man.
Yeah, dude, there you go. He's got a fucking firm jaw, too. He looks like he fucking chomped down on a bitch.
Yeah. But yeah, please like, share, subscribe, tell us where your mama lives, and watch out for Crushgasm and Over the Culture. Don't Worry, Be Movies. That's another one with Amanda and Wade. They are followers of our show, and I'm good friends with Amanda. I used to work with her in the Woodlands, the Fox days. And of course, our buddies B3F podcast. This is Steve G and Matt G with Happening in the 90s.